All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a really fascinating startup pitch called AgroIndia, and it's tackling a huge, kind of hidden problem in Indian agriculture. It's a story about land, about lost knowledge, and believe it or not, a super high-tech solution that literally fits right in your pocket. So let's start with a number that just makes you stop and think. 15,000 crores. That is the estimated economic loss every single year from farmlands that's just not being used to its full potential. And get this, that's just from two states in India, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. It's an absolutely staggering amount of value just sitting there. So you have to ask, right? In a world filled with amazing technology, why is this happening? Why is so much incredibly valuable agricultural land being left behind? Well, the answer reveals this really deep and honestly surprising paradox. To really get to the bottom of it, we need to explore what's being called India's agricultural paradox. So let's break down what's at the core of this whole problem. Okay, so who actually owns all this farmland today? Well, as you can see here, there's been a massive generational shift. A whopping 60% of this land is now owned by second or third generation heirs. We're talking about software engineers, doctors, people with professional jobs in the cities who have basically zero background in farming. And that creates, well, a perfect storm of problems. First, you've got a huge knowledge deficit. That traditional farming wisdom is just gone. Then, these new owners have really demanding careers, so time is a huge issue. On top of that, there's a labor shortage because workers are moving to cities for other jobs. And most critically, there's just no easy way for a landowner to get good, solid advice for their specific piece of land, which leads to this massive technology gap. It's a really complex crisis, for sure, but this is where the story takes a turn. This is where technology steps in with a pretty slick AI-powered solution. This quote right here, it perfectly nails AgroIndia's big idea. It's so simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. What if you could just give that expertise to everyone? That question is the entire foundation of their platform, making expert advice accessible to anyone, anywhere, right on their smartphone. So you can think about it like this. On one side, you have the old way, the current reality for so many. It's all based on guesswork, maybe some old traditions, and that leads to high risks and pretty low yields. But on the other side, you see the future AgroIndia is trying to build, a system driven by data, powered by AI, that helps you optimize every single decision to get the most out of your land. It's a huge shift from just intuition to actual intelligence. Okay, so how does this magic actually work? Let's take a look inside the digital farm and pop the hood on this thing. It really boils down to this beautifully simple three-step process. First, the landowner just opens up an app and literally draws a box around their plot of land on a map. Second, the platform goes to work, automatically pulling years and years of historical satellite data for that exact spot. And third, the AI engine crunches all those numbers and gives you a custom report with recommendations. That's it. Simple, right? Now, one of the key bits of tech they use is something called NDVI. It sounds super complicated, but it's really not. Just think of it like a doctor's report for your land, but seen from space. Satellites can measure the greenness of an area, and that tells the AI how healthy and productive different parts of the farm have been over the last decade. It's a crazy powerful way to understand your land's past and its future potential. AgroIndia actually offers two levels of service. So Tier 1 is the do-it-yourself digital platform we've been talking about, the app that gives you all that cool AI analysis. But for people who want to go deeper, there's Tier 2, called Agro Consulting Plus. This is the hands-on service. We're talking on-field soil testing, setting up smart sensors, and even personal consultations with real agricultural experts. Okay, the technology is definitely impressive, but the big question is always, is it a real business? Can it actually make money and grow? Let's move on and look at the business of growth. Their target customer is actually really specific and pretty diverse. The biggest slice of the pie, 40%, is exactly who we talked about, tech professionals who've inherited land. Then you have Indians living abroad trying to manage farms from a distance, forward-thinking farmers who love technology, and even big agricultural investment firms who need data on a massive scale. And when you look at their projected growth, well, it's pretty explosive. The plan is to go from 1.5 crows in the first year to nearly 30 crows by year 3. That kind of ambition is built on a very clear plan for scaling up. That explosive growth is all driven by getting more and more customers on board. The goal is to scale from just 1,000 customers in year 1 all the way up to 75,000 by year 5. And if they do that, revenues are projected to hit over 160 crores. It's all based on a model that combines those easy-to-scale digital subscriptions with the higher-priced consulting services. What makes their business model so strong is that they're not just relying on one thing. They have a bunch of different ways to make money. Those recurring subscriptions for the app, one-time fees for consulting and setting up a smart farm, ongoing support contracts, and even commissions from partnerships with suppliers. It's a really diversified and resilient approach. But this pitch is about way more than just making money. In our final section, let's look at how AgroIndia really aims to cultivate a better future by focusing on its wider impact. First off, let's talk about jobs. The plan is to create over 500 new high-skill jobs for agricultural graduates. This could be a game changer, maybe even reversing that brain drain from rural areas and creating modern careers right in the heart of the agricultural sector. Next up, the impact on the land itself. They're projecting an average productivity boost of 40% for their users. I mean, think about that. That means getting significantly more food and value from every single acre, all by making smarter, data-backed decisions. And here's where it really hits home: the impact on people's lives. This all translates to an estimated income increase of about 50,000 rupees per year for each family. That's what makes farming profitable and truly sustainable again for them. So, at the end of the day, this is about so much more than an app or a balance sheet. It's a real attempt to fix a fundamental disconnect, to build a bridge between a new generation of landowners, powerful modern technology, and the ancient vital practice of agriculture. And all of this leaves us with one final, really provocative thought to chew on. As technology like this becomes more and more common, are we heading into a new era? An era where the future of farming is shaped more by data scientists than by farmers? Is the key to feeding the world found more in data than it is in dirt? It's a fascinating question and one we'll all be thinking about for a long time.